Hi everyone, Tom here. It's Jampot, and let's play some more Galaxy. I re-rolled Luna. I don't have the Galaxy Pass yet. I think next week. And then let's take a look at what we've got here. Because there's none of these are like my favorite options, but I actually quite like all of them. They're kind of similar. So Preeminent Prodigy, in my opinion, is, like a couple, like Candy Pandy a little bit. You're looking for very specific treasures to buff, and then you kind of go from there. So in a way, it's like a little bit dynamic because once you get your little lance, um, you have a lot of places to go from there. Um, but it is kind of a little bit ho-hum, I think, setting up the same thing every single game. I say as like I slam Witches 3 over and over, but I think that one like it's actually very flexible how you end up. You just have these like core units that like are so important, and if you pick them, if you see them, you're never going to pick something else. But there's actually like a lot of other ways like you can get strong with that. Um, King Midas is, losing a half heart puts you a little bit behind. This is a strong enough ability that you can, and it doesn't like strictly put you behind on tempo the way that like some of the other ones. I'm thinking of Skip specifically is like you're also behind half a heart, but you're so far behind on board a lot of the time. Goldens are weird in that like sometimes they put you ahead on board, sometimes they put you down because are have a little bit less shop selection, or maybe the golden doesn't actually matter. It's just like a +3/+3 buff that you're spending your shop on, which is huge on turn one, but like not so big on turn four. Um, and then if but it depends if your treasure's good, right? Loki. Loki, I think that you're best off going Candy, where you just don't care where the spells land. But you are just still so dependent on the spells in your shop, and like when it goes well, it's amazing. Like you just are you have a really kind of a weird board a lot of the time because you kind of do want to cast your double transforms. It's a pretty powerful effect, but it means that you can't fall too much in love with like any one unit, and sometimes that's really fun, kind of like being like, oh, okay, this is what I'm working with now. You move on from there. Um, but it is the randomness to me is less about the fact that it hits on a random character and more the fact that like you're relying on your shop spells a little bit more than I would like. Like Serena is kind of the same problem where your shops can just like not work for you. Um, but the payoff is like a little bit more specific. Two spells on the same character is probably better than a spell on one character and then on another random character, especially when you're talking double double and stuff like that. Uh, I'm gonna go Midas. I think I've been playing in general the way that I prefer to, which is to be like maybe a half step ahead, give you some space that you can then like take your foot off the gas and get strong once you see something that requires some time. Let's see what happens when we're, having to catch up right away. So what am I doing here that isn't, Kittigris and Uther Pendragon are, Frogprince. These are particularly cute with Midas, and I think that it's the real deal. I don't think it's a joke. Glory Seeker makes some amount of sense to me, given that, like, looking at this, we have a fair number of heroes. The things that are weird to me, Huntsman, generically strong, good with mix, or not generically strong. It is broken in certain scenarios, and then kind of I guess the opposite of generically strong, narrow and specific and very powerful. Um, but it is strong enough that it's like worth considering if you think you could support it, is what I'm trying to say. Um, I don't know what that was doing in there. I was probably just trying it out. I guess the idea is that you don't have silvers so that you can uh anything that you've kind of been missing on, you can kind of go ahead with. Let's look at these. Do any of these really care about their abilities? Mr. Fox certainly does. Um, Mechanical Dragon, it's fine, whatever. Who cares if it gets transformed? And then of course these are higher than Epic, so yeah, let's try it. Like I don't think I've actually gotten it to work. Smug is interesting too, right? Because like what if we're just like getting our random supports going? So the big thing that Huntsman enables, Hercules of course, is like the one that causes, I think, issues for other teams, but it also means that you have a Huntsman and a Hercules in your deck, and that is a can be a liability for sure. Um, I think that you can get quite a bit of value out of treasures at every tier, and we should not be struggling so much. Like the smug is really nice when you like are playing something that has maybe a little bit of a poorer treasure economy at some point, and you can't make use of a lot of treasures, so you just kind of it's better to have like something powerful, or there are, like cases where you can do particular things with smug. I don't think we need it here. We're doing some quests. Guinevere is okay, but it's not really what we're about, right? Like the whole point is that we can natural golden. Oracle of Fortunes is very slow. I'm not sure about this Huntsman. I mean, I know that we can also get it without fulfilling its quest, which is really nice. I'm gonna take Dragonlink here. It's mhm, really, really strong because it hits immediately Treasure Hoard 2 and a treasure, and obviously gonna take Gold Ring here. So, I mean, this can happen, and then you're not playing from behind as far as like your health is concerned, right? Because much more often what ends up happening, or a number of times, your shop doesn't necessarily lend you to winning your first fight, or you just face somebody who is a bit of a bully earlier on. Although with Candyman not being strong on turns 1 and 2 anymore, that doesn't happen nearly as often. Um, Glory Seeker, I think, just makes sense. It's what we're doing. Once you have a Glory Seeker, like, I think Daughter of Athena is pretty good. If we golden it, it's, this gold ring is really nice for us. Is there any reason? I think we should put these on the front line so that they can maybe get attacked, and then this Dragonling can maybe like attack first, these die, and then it attacks a second time and finishes its quest, rather than like put this in the front and try and like deal a full heart's worth of damage. But it is not irrelevant to, kick your opponents when they're down. Um, it gives you, it means that if you fall flat a little bit later, it's okay. Starshield, Wanavanger, Lesser Mimic. So Lesser Mimic, I'm quite likely to golden a common. That's like kind of the risk of it. Um, Starshield is not necessary with this Dragonling, but this Dragonling doesn't need to be in this position. Wanavanger I'm not interested in. We'd much rather be using our shops to buy like characters because getting them golden is so easy for us. And like once you amass enough treasures, you'll find some combination that gets you there. I'm gonna take Starshield. There are hunts that we care about. Um, I mean, none of these are particularly good, like, but I'll grab this one. Here, so we could take Hungry Hyena, and then we would have, a couple things granting a couple relevant slot bonuses. +1/+1 to 2 slots every turn is something. Minotaur has the best stats, and, does this. So the other thing is like this just kind of helps us get ship shape, which is something that you should consider, I think, when you're playing, but not like you shouldn't warp your game plan around it, but if it can be a tiebreaker because getting a rare treasure like immediately, just being able to slam it on turn 5, and then you find something that tells you what you're going to be doing in the future. Because a lot of the time you look at a shop and you're like, what am I supposed to do? Because you don't have the things that synergize with it yet, right? Um, we're strong enough. We have this big bully of a Dragonling. We don't have to take Minotaur here. I don't think Pyrat is that interesting. We don't have a support that gives it any attack or anything like that. I think it's incredibly unlikely that it's not incredibly unlikely that it will hunt, but it's we can't consistently get it to hunt, and it's unlikely that we want to put resources into it. Of all of these, I'm not enthusiastic about goldening any of them, but Minotaur would actually be my favorite because it would just make it big again. But let's take Hungry Hyena. I think getting a little bit of Um, I should have put it here, but oh well. Or put an animal here because I would like some attack buffs on this slot. I was just thinking like later on I'm going to want some supports, so I would like to make sure that these slots are solved. Or if I pick up a support, it's going to be difficult to buff these slots later. That's why I did that in that order. Um, we're kind of doing like this to me looks like a potential Ahab board, but I think if we did that, we'd kind of have to go off of um, Daughter of Athena, or we could just finish Daughter of Athena, but like common treasures, like really? But Navi is great actually, because we can golden it with just one more, and then we get functionally two treasures, right? We get like a Lich King's Heart's worth of value and another thing. So I do think that does make sense, even though I think that it's pretty conceivable that Ahab would like finish its quest here. I'm just gonna put the Dragonling here, make it giant. Um, yeah, Lucky Chest is kind of cool because like we are about to go into uh things where we could spike an epic treasure pretty quickly off of this if we finish a quest quickly. I kind of sometimes I like saving this for the secret rare, just because like you'll find some legendaries. Secret rares are really messed up. But I think we're doing strong enough. Let's just kind of keep our foot on the gas. So we are shipshape already. We don't have to keep this, although we're probably not getting rid of both of these. Blackjack makes so much sense up here with this +5 health already. Navi, I think, these stat differences are pretty negligible, but they're slightly there. But Little Red, I'll keep it around. There's certainly things I would transform here. Don't care about any of these. Yep, great. So I guess I care a little bit more about having attack buffs, because do I? Like having high health is nice in that like surviving on one health is really, really good. Um, but I guess conversely, right? Like your opponent's stuff surviving on one health is very obnoxious, and Hungry Hyena could help address that. Also, we have so few animals that this is really kind of not real. So I'm just gonna do this, and then let's see what we got. So there's the reinforced hull. That, you know, insane with this, and really, really wish I had a baby bear. I probably should have thought specifically about that, but I was greedy with this Little Red. This was definitely what I should have replaced. Is it? I mean, what if I hadn't gotten this and I'd seen a transform? Anyway, it was a little bit tricky because my other stats were so much better, but that is interesting. We'll see how that plays out. Where do we want to get +9 +8? I guess up here. This is like these two slots. I'll take a quick second to kind of break down like what I think about like the purpose of each slot is in general, right? Like here you want your things that want to attack first, right? Like these two slots work well for that. Hunts typically are going to go here, and or ranged characters, right? Those are the ones that really need to be attacking and not attacked. Um, and then hunts are can go up here with a support to get strong, or down here to kind of maybe be more likely to hunt twice, clean up a little bit later, and really pop off. Or if you have Huntsman's Axe, not so down here. Um, and then, yeah, so often if you have a hunt up here, you may want to support up here to enable it. Later on, if you've gotten it strong enough on its own, you this slot might be free. This slot here is usually for like your core supports that are a little bit weak on their own, which is most. Um, the problem being that then it's not buffing your like hunt slot, right? So this thing has to be like independently functional without a support. Um, but the reason why I think of it this way is, of course, this one is the furthest back unit, the last to attack. So you're not going to be you just get to keep it safe a little bit longer. And then this slot usually is the summon slot in my mind, or it's the secondary hunt slot, right? Like if you pick up like you've got an okay hunt and then you find a better one, so you just like shove this one here because you might as well if you've got a support back here. Um, but if it's a summon, the reason I think of it as the summon slot is that like if you have two supports, you want your summon to go here, right? Benefiting from both. And then back here is your like defensive, your slot that you really like don't want to attack, right? Because it's going to attack at a very awkward time. So that makes it an obvious fit for your stinkies, your dragon oracle. Um, so that's my basic thought process here. I think we're kind of a generic character. It's very likely that we just end up playing dragons, getting a big flopsy, and then just like picking up whatever. So it's not super crucial. I guess with that in mind, I think I would rather have like if I see a good hunt to be able to enable it, whereas I think it will be pretty easy to make a support's gonna work or a summon is gonna work wherever we find it. Let's just get our things a little bit more aggressively positioned and move on. I kind of think that we're crushing, so I think we're probably going to end up just uh, sweeping, but somebody might spike and then, change that. This is an animal. Lovely. Huh. We did find it. So where does it go? Probably just on Little Red. I didn't realize this worked for so long. Great. Okay. So that changes this, right? Now we want this up here. Sword of Valor, really strong ever since the buff, although it's a little bit late for it, like this is a couple turns later than these stats really matter, especially because we're not looking to pick up more heroes. Pixie Dust, I would be considering exclusively for Worm Scale, but we do have it, and I think that that combo is just, it's slow, but pretty dominant. And again, I think we're strong. We don't have to take every single thing. Against this, I mean, Zagreus hasn't lost a heart, it looks like. So they don't necessarily have a treasure, but clearly have been doing fine. The question that I'm wondering is, do I want to put this blackjack down here? I think like this is because these stats are quite large, there is a possibility that this actually doesn't interact if my opponent is like kind of weak. But a 17 is not so much health that like it's guaranteed to survive either. Like if we put this through the front line, the hope is that this attacks a backline unit and then we get our common treasure. Okay, I mean, that could have not worked, but it did. It looks like Zagreus is just naturally doing quite well. Ooh, so that's just something to consider. Bronze Goose I always get like excited by, and then sometimes, if I'm playing Midas, you're like, oh wait, everything is Bronze Goose. It still has the biggest stats and it's an animal, so we're gonna take it. I think this blackjack, like it's not like we really cared about getting these common treasures. Just like if it's on our board, we should consider how to optimize it. I think that just having treasure short too, the stats matter much more. I'll take a second ship shape just to finish the treasure. I guess it clearly has nowhere to go, right? Like, so. Don't need Gilded Lily. Frequent Flyer card will generate a ton of common treasures. Would be amazing if we picked up the Hidden Treasure Run. And then it does just raise our treasure hoard faster than Galactic Rock, I believe. But I think we have some time to Galactic Rock. You never know what's in the rock. Um, so basically the question is, do we continue stacking stats here, or do we kind of do something where we start like dancing around and like keeping this goodie bag like a little bit better while we um, kind of just spread some stats around? In general, of course, spread around stats are not as good, but we have like somewhere with some concentrated stats already. And it's again, the resource that we're putting into scaling is having this hungry hyena on our board, which is a real thing, but we're getting enough out of it. Like absolutely we are. Um, Looking at this, we now have like a couple animals to like move around. I think I'm gonna put Goodie Bag in like a suboptimal slot for one more turn. And then from there, we can start doing something like that. That's dangerous, the golden Mr. Fox for sure. So we're facing some builds that can like have some room to grow. Uh, I mean PSL is nice, but if I lost a heart, I would be okay with that. That could cost us an entire turn of stuff later, but I just think this is too strong. Like, we're not gonna get ahead if we don't golden our best like scaling unit. So basically, I don't mind if this is missing some stats. I just want to be like scaling this slot for later, for this to go here later. Um, Buried treasure is only going to be particularly relevant if we like hit World Shrub, I guess. So I don't, you know, we'll worry about making World Shrub good later. Once we have our, full suite of secret rare treasures. Horse armor is kind of interesting to me because like these boards that we've been facing haven't actually been like so soft. So I wonder if that's better. Like six shooter is not amazing with what we're doing. It can hit some really relevant spells. Horse armor is so dorky, but better with worm scale, does all these things. Ooh, no. Oh, Scar looks really interesting to me here actually. This dragonling is huge. But we have a reinforced hull. We should take and we have a hunt. We should take Scar. Uh, okay. So I guess we'll put our two hunts up here and just hope. I hate that everyone's Mr. Foxing this lobby because like our backline then just. I actually think that's like one of the problems with like the. Too bad. You want this to die, right? So that the character doubles its stats. It doesn't matter too much, but it does matter. Um, and Helica, we do have Black Pearl. This is quite large already. So let's say that we did that. Obviously, we're losing. We'd have to go off of maybe Bronze Goose, put that in. It's a 1624. It would go to a 50, 52 attack. That's a big buff to be putting into something, isn't it? And I think Mr. Fox, like we've all been stealing each other's treasures left and right. So like you never know. It could hit something huge. It could just hit a twin shot. Like we might already have like literal twin shot, but you understand what I'm trying to say. Um, this is a turn late, but then back then I was like much more interested in Mr. Fox continuing to slay. Like we have enough treasures to work off of that this would have to hit something specific for us to like really care about it. If it just hits something that like does something, that's not really what we're about anymore. The other thing is, of course, we could just pick this up for the treasure and move on with our lives, but I think this is worth it. Huh. I'm not like so concerned about this like Scar interaction, right? Like there's not really something we're looking for, but I also, again, I'm not planning to cast a lot of spells unless they're free. Uh, so I don't think I can expect Friar Tuck to go off. I'm still gonna pick it up. There's a world where it comes up, and in that world, a free shop is much better than what Scar was providing. Nice, all right. But if we'd picked up like say the Captain's Cutlass or the Carving Fork there, right? Like we wouldn't have been enthused. So I think having this be second was fine. We have so many things that boost our like this is when animals start to work, right? Like our slot bonuses. It seems wrong not to take Papa Bear, and I think we're okay just being like thank you, Angelica, but it's not necessarily going to hunt again. We're not gonna go off of Goodie Bag, but I think we should consider nudging it to a different slot again at this point. Like maybe we can do something like this. It's just late enough that I think I want to be strong. Jasmine Dragon is messed up. We have a Galactic Rock ready to get it going next turn, so where does it go? I'm assuming this Friar Tuck because Hungry Hyena is much much better. This is the we're not looking to play Boon Willow, especially when everyone's like running Mr. Foxes and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna not worry about stats in this slot. It's the least likely to interact in combat. There's a double double. I mean, it's gigantic. There's also a Navi, which is would not be bad by any means. Um, but I think we like this means that if we pick up Goldilocks or Flopsy, okay. This is a-okay. It's a good pivot actually. I'm wondering what I should go off of, right? Because Mr. Fox, I mean, honestly, this Hungry Hyena is still really good, right? It's giving plus 11, plus 10 to 1, 2, 3 slots, although 2 slots. Plus 11, plus 10 to 2 slots a turn is more than I would expect Mr. Fox to get, like, value for on any given thing, and it has to hunt for that. So I think that's fine. Okay. Does that go in place of Jasmine Dragon, which is not guaranteed to proc next turn? Like, I don't think that we can't guarantee that this is going to come back, and I think that this, every other turn, at worst, this will give us a bonus shop. This is late enough now. I think we can go, yeah, I mean, Papa Bear, like we're spewing all of our space things that I was just excited about, but I think this is not that difficult of a decision. Let's just do it like this. Uh, so a couple options here. Sugar Plum Fairy, whatever. Uh, Mockingbird, we, are having animals, but I think we're about to go off of this. We're in the Flopsy, like hitting something good waiting room. Dreamer's just big. It's bigger than this goodie bag, but we'll never get goodie bag back. I think that's okay. Is that true? Realistically, how is this game likely to go? It's likely to go with me seeing stronger and stronger things in this left slot, and then I'm going to have to fight every single time I see one of them to decide if I want to keep this. This is currently adding about 200 um, sum and stats, right? Like it's a 50 sum, and then it adds, um, oh, not even that much, right? Like, yeah, again, like I probably estimate this card because it's good in certain strategies, and I don't think it matters here. Um, yeah, I think I'm okay with this. The Dreamer here is whatever, but like I'm really just putting a giant thing here, which is incorrect. I should have put it up here for sure. Great, obviously. Okay. Huh. Boots of Magic Find seems pretty obvious to me here. We're so strong. We have like lots of room, lots of time to get good. How does this work? Like, not how does this work? It's not rocket science. Which one? Is this good enough to take? It would be if our Jasmine Dragon hadn't procced yet, but I don't know if I want to waste my Flock of Mimics on this, is kind of what I'm thinking. It could be worth it for sure. I'll take this right now because like I'll get a little bit more out of this. Mockingbird is just so much bigger. One, two, three places that are getting slot bonuses. Slot bonuses don't really matter. Winning one fight, like by a little bit more certainly could. I could take I could take Ahab actually. It could work out. But I'm just gonna take over the rainbow. Like it is a little bit awkward because Flopsy, like, you can't just pick the thing that you want to pick. Um, but it will be big. Okay, first place. Yeah, again, it's hard to know, right? Because like in retrospect, I'm like, oh, I talked so much, and what decisions did I make? I slammed, like I got things that were good, and I got a Flopsy, and everything worked. Um, but partially, I make slightly better decisions when I'm talking through them, right? Like sometimes when I say that I'm talking myself out of something, it's because like my instinct is to take something, and then I'm like, that doesn't make sense now that I'm actually thinking about it. And also, I like videos where people just kind of over-explain. So I hope that you guys do too. Yeah, no more to talk about now, though. I think this run speaks for itself. Bye.